Hey everybody, I wanted to do an update video on my Magic Fireplace build. It's been taking a lot longer this summer than I had hoped for, but getting there. Hopefully I'll finish it this summer, or this year actually. The summer's already over. So today I'm working on mixing up insulation mix, which is basically 5 parts vermiculite, which is the same kind of stuff that you get from a gardening supply. I got this from my buddy Dave. He works for a greenhouse, and I've got a couple more bags to go here. And basically I just take one big tub of this stuff, fill it with the vermiculite, and then I add 1 bucket of cement, Portland cement, and then a bucket twice as big of water. And I mix all that stuff up, and then I go climbing up here. And once I get up here, this is basically what I'm doing. I'm just kind of stuffing it in there, and I've got this thing that I made, which is actually a magnet drilled and affixed to the end of a long dowel, so I can hopefully find meteorites. I was just kind of poking around in the dirt with it, hoping I would find something like that someday. But it happens to be just the perfect tool to tamp this stuff down. And it's not a really wet mix. It's actually a very kind of like almost like no-bake cookie dough consistency. You want it to be able to ball up, and then you pack it all in there. And so that's basically what I'm doing right now. I got started on it last night, and I should be able to get it finished filling the vermiculite mix in there tonight. But so here I am. You can see my giant mess down there. I've already started massing up rocks that I will be eventually using for the fascia and to fill in my benches. And I'm going to pour basically 1 concrete and rock terrace on this level, and then over here where I just climbed up, you can see where my dirty foot tracks were. This is actually a slanted shelf. You can see it's got a little bit of an angle to it, and the water for the cooling system, or the fountain really, is going to come out of this board somewhere around in here. And I'm going to take rocks and concrete and make it look like basically water fountain or squirting out, and then it'll turn into a waterfall, and this will be the first terrace, and then it'll come down and it'll probably be another waterfall around here, and it'll flow down a bunch of rocks into a hole, a drain hole, which will go back underneath. And so I've got these barrels down here, and I'm going to have these filled with water, so the water will be pulled from the barrels and then drained back into the barrels once it comes back. So that will be the water feature of the magic water fountain, or the magic fireplace. And this is one of my openings, and you can see the other one on the opposite side. This is for where a C-channel piece is going to sit right in here, and my thermoelectric generators will sit on top of the C-channel. And a liquid cooling system with the water that I just mentioned is going to pump water to cool the cold side of the thermoelectric generator. So it's going to start here. Eventually, I'm going to actually just probably start with blocking these off with the steel, and I'm not going to have enough money to afford the thermoelectrics for the whole thing quite yet, because this is a pretty big fireplace, and it's going to have room for, now I estimate, somewhere around 19 or 20 thermoelectric generators of the size that I've currently purchased. So this is the back hole, and this is basically directly in the chimney box. And I got a 20-inch piece of steel C-channel that's going to fit right in here, and then it's going to be affixed with, I believe, 9 thermoelectric Peltier conductors. So I've got little holes that pass through here. These little mini caves are specifically designed to give me an access point to run the cooling fluid, whether it's a coolant or water, through hoses and keep it inside. So the coolant fluid will run inside of a hose and then start right here. And then once it gets done there, it will go out of this other side and go to the other side through that little gap with a hose. And then it'll come back to here, and cool the third set of thermoelectric generators. So once it's done here, as you can see, I've got this opening passageway there. I'll run the hose with the discharge all the way down to the exit point on the other side, which I just showed you, which is the water fountain. And then this space here is going to give me access so that the fiber optic lights, which are going to be eventually, I don't have those yet, but eventually I'm going to get at least one or maybe a couple of fiber optic lighting systems. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what I'm talking about, but basically it's an LED diode that has a giant, multi-hair of fiber optic whip, and you take the fiber optics, and basically I'm just going to drill holes in the fascia. So there'll be holes all over the place, which will house the fiber optic points. And so I'm collecting a large amount of transparent crystals at various different colors, everything I can find. Obviously, as you can see, I've got a lot of rocks that I've already collected myself. Some of these are, in fact, transparent agates and quartz type crystals. But eventually, what I'm going to have is just a bunch of rocks glued to the face. And some of the rocks will be transparent crystals with fiber optic lights, backlighting the light. So the face of the fireplace will actually come alive, as well as the water fountain and stream when you light a fire. And hopefully we'll get to that point this winter. Over here we have the other side, and here's another cubby hole. There's actually, I'm probably going to have like a cubby hole on either side, and I'm calling them cubby holes for right now. I am also more than likely eventually going to put a speaker in each one of these so that I can hook up music and have the fireplace also either play music or potentially, again, this is more of a long-term thing. This isn't going to be this year, but I really would like to get an Arduino or Raspberry Pi or some sort of computer, like a little mini computer board, and put an AI program on it so that basically when I light the fireplace, each one of the steel C channels will have a thermocouple, or basically a thermometer with a diode that will pay attention to the steel plate temperature, because there's certain temperature ranges that the thermoelectrics need to stay within, and I want to be able to monitor that. So I want to first of all have the Raspberry Pi or whatever computer hooked up to thermometers so I can pay attention to all of them. It's either that or I have to just get like a digital or some sort of rudimentary thermometer. But an AI thermometer digitally connected to a computer would also then give me the ability to have a computer-controlled system that will help not only pay attention to the temperature, but potentially help control it in different ways. So either through the use of blowers to bump the heat up, or some sort of dampening mechanism to calm it down. So haven't figured that type of thing out yet, but the other thing that I would really love to be able to do is have an AI program to just be able to have a kind of like an Alexa fireplace, only rather than talking to a little device on your countertop, the fireplace will be a digital assistant of sorts, or an AI that I can ask questions to, and it can search the internet. There's a couple of them out there that are open source AI platforms that are highly secure. I'm not an Alexa fan. I'm not an Amazon or Google spy material. I don't know. I wouldn't be very comfortable. I'm just not comfortable having that type of AI assistant where it's connected to a database that a company is just collecting my data and then sharing it or selling it. So the AI platforms I'm referring to are secure. The one that I was reading about, and I can't remember the name of it, but it uses DuckDuckGo as its search browser. So it's a secure search browser. It wouldn't be telling anybody who's making inquiries on the internet or anything like that. And it would be just hooked up to Wi-Fi from my house. and just get secure searches done that way, so that I can actually have like a Google Assistant, only it would be a DuckDuckGo Magic Fireplace Assistant. So, so that's where I'm at right now. I just wanted to give an update to those that are interested in the whole fireplace progress. Once I get done at the very top here filling it, I'm going to go back to, as you can see, there's only one wall of sheeting here. So once I get done with filling the insulation, I'm going to finish framing in and covering with sheet board the rest of the structure. And once it gets totally closed in, and the two side walls here are protected from the weather, then I will go ahead and get to, I've got this stuff, which is basically a super high temperature glass adhesive. So it will basically be used to attach ceramic bat wool insulation on either side of the C-channel exit points, so that it can take out any space and ensure that there's no air seeping out, including smoke or fire or high temperature air, to the other side of the C-channel. So I've got to make those as tight as possible to make sure that the, well, first of all, that it's safe, but also the thermoelectrics don't get hot on the cold side, which is kind of imperative. So yeah, that's my kind of long-winded, but fireplace update. I'm going to get back to work here so I can get this thing insulated. Hope you're having a great day. Take care.